So, after having dealt with how comics depict the passage of time in single panels and in sequences, let's come to the next bigger thing, which is the page. And page design is, of course, a very important aspect of the creation of comics. Here we go. This is one page from Will Eisner's A Life Force. Great novel, A Life Force, set in the Jewish barrio in Brooklyn in the 1940s, something like this, 1930s, I think 30s and 40s. Anyway, there is this protagonist, Jacob Starker, who gets a heart attack, a fake one. He survives, but in the streets of Brooklyn. And you see him, of course, in the various phases, how he collapses and finally leans on the wall, thinking about or expecting to die. And you see the various phases of his shakiness, how he, in a way, realizes that something is wrong with him and how he slowly goes down. So do the panels, by the way. The panel board is not very consistent. You see the shaking of Jacob Starker even in the page design, the way they are combined. And it becomes very important because it's one page which is only concerned with his heart attack or his fake one. And you see, so yes, it's very much worthwhile to regard whole pages and how they depict certain actions, aspects, whatever. Here's another one. This is a page, Berlin, Jason Lutz, historical novel set in the Weimar Republic, very well known. It's dealing with the Weimar Republic just before the Nazi onslaught, before the Nazis come to power in 1933. And you see there is this couple who is very much involved politically on the opposition side with that. They retreat from Berlin to the quiet of the countryside, but the swastika still entangles them. You see that? Yeah, you see, probably you will see the swastika in the page design. With the two of them, trying to found their own microcosm, but the great macrocosm is looming just on the horizon. Look at that. The swastika is there. Yes. So page design is a great thing in comics. And so if you ever tackle comics and analyze them, look at panels, sequences, and whole pages. This is what I say, what I'm driving at. Okay, we come to something else. I have to talk about the strength of comics. What is the strength of comics as a narrative genre? Okay. And there has to be some strength because they're very successful, and particularly recently, in the recent 2 decades, comics are booming. Well, it's of course due to the technological progress and to the iconic turn and to the internet and so on. But yes, what is the strength of comics? There has to be some, and you find out if you compare them to traditional narrative genres. And I want to show you a few strengths of the comic here. One is that it is very, very well able these days to not only to depict action, but inaction. So, thing is, once people are accustomed to the fact that panel sequences depict the passage of time, which modern people are, of course, they are aware of that, you can do amazing things. And look at that. This is one sequence from Bone. And by the way, my background is Bone as well. Jeff Smith, great comic, a comic series it is. Great stuff. This is Bone, one of the Bones. And you see who is looking for his friend. And he's just thinking. And just imagine in the usual narrative genre, you would say he stood there and thought, okay. But here we see he's standing there thinking, still thinking, still thinking, finding something, still thinking. You see? So we see how long he stands there and considering what is happening, because he finds a cigarette butt, a cigar butt, which belongs to his friend. But there you see, inaction, yes, but you can show how long the inaction takes, because we are, after all, accustomed to the fact that panel sequences depict time. Only when we are aware of that, can we read this, of course. Another one here, Anders Nielsen. Anders Nielsen, a great graphic novel, Dogs and Bones, I think, yes, where the protagonist alone travels the countryside of some war-ravaged region, probably Siberia or something like that. It looks like it. And he comes to a pipeline. And he's there alone with his teddy bear. Yes, okay. I don't want to give you that. I don't want to spoil the novel, because it's a very good read. But he gets up and he sits on the pipeline, you see, and sits and sits and sits for a very long time. Talks to his teddy bear. Sits, still sits. Nothing happens. Still very impressive, because slight movements, tilting of a head, something like this. Raising an arm or something, but nothing Action Comics would do. But yeah, he just sits there, and we realize his isolation, his loneliness, the long time it takes, and that he's even talking to his teddy bear, because the loneliness, his isolation, gets to him. Okay? Anders Nielsen. Simultaneity, the next thing. Simultaneity, think about ordinary narrative genres. The novel. Okay. Simultaneity cannot be expressed, or it can, by using adverbials. Yeah. You tell something and say, at the same time, this or that happened some other place, or the same place, something like that. But you need adverbials. After all, we still read one word after the other, but a picture we take in as a whole. Okay, and here we go. So simultaneity is a big thing. And look at that. One panel which shows loads of simultaneous actions. By the way, this is by Eric Drucker. Rage Against the Machine used this as a CD cover. Riots in Central Park, real thing, which happened, and you see all the things that happen simultaneously. Somebody, who played the guitar before, raising his guitar. The policeman with the club, going after the demonstrators. There's someone in the background. There is even a helicopter and a searchlight, and most of all, in the left-hand corner up there, there's a couple not caring, not at all, drinking champagne while the world outside falls apart. All this is happening at the same time. Comic can do this. A picture can do this. Yeah, simultaneity, no problem at all. Yeah, very impressive. Or here, yeah, simultaneity, action and reaction, something like this. Posey Simmons, Tamara Drew, also a very great motion picture. Tamara Drew, Posey Simmons. Where she is a very flashy Londoner, a columnist for a newspaper, with her rock star boyfriend, Ben. This is her rock star boyfriend. And they are roaming a country village. You see all the country bumpkins there, who've never seen anything like that in their hamlet. And they are looking at them from behind. So you see them posing in the streets of this small village, being looked at by the others simultaneously. Okay, in a novel you would have to depict that, but here you can, or in a novel you would have to narrate that. Here you can depict it. That's it. Simultaneously. Even sequences. Simultaneously. Here we go. This is a sequence from Alan Moore's Watchmen. Yeah, and what you see here is a bloke drinking a beer, but that's not the important thing. Somebody is approaching from behind. Rorschach is the superhero, Rorschach, and he's making not very favorable remarks on the superheroes. And you see him, I mean, we have an idea how long it takes to raise a glass of beer, drink it, and set it down again. And we see Rorschach approaching from behind, and we measure the action we are familiar with, drinking a glass of beer, sip of beer, and we measure this action against what is happening behind, and we see Rorschach approaching. Takes a long time. He is taking his time, which becomes really menacing. Yeah, but he's just slowly approaching. And believe me, I mean, after this, you turn the page, and he will break. Rorschach will break the man's finger. Okay, but there you see, measuring one action against the other. So you are familiar with drinking a beer, but this means Rorschach is approaching very slowly. Okay. Right. In the next installment, I want to come to that. Yeah, how comics use objective correlatives in order to depict emotions. We come to that. Okay.